you keep sabotaging your weight loss? Why are you not doing what you say you're going to do and you know you should do? Coach Helen here. We're live at lunch, and I'm going to go deep into this question. And boy, it's a goodie. In fact, I must hear it on almost every, maybe not every, but most of the freedom calls I do. And I meet somebody new, some version of, why do I do this crazy thing? I know what I should be doing. I'm just not doing it. And when we use the word self-sabotage to anything, whether it's a behavior we're doing, whether we feel like we're sabotaging our weight loss, our relationships, our career, whatever it is, what I've come to understand, and I'm going to get straight to the spoiler alert here, and then we're going to get deep into the weeds. But what I've come to understand is we never, ever, ever self-sabotage. Doesn't matter what we're doing. What are we doing? We always try to meet a deeper need. That's it. So when we ask ourselves, why did I just self-sabotage? It's like we're assuming there's some evil part of us that wants us to have a shit life. You know what I mean? That wants us to just not have what we want. But if we can ask a better question, then we actually can get to the answers that can lead us in the direction of freedom from self-sabotage and move us in the direction that we actually want to be going in. Not always easy, but here we go. What is the question we have to ask? Well, before I answer that, my name's Helen. If you're new to the channel and this is your first live at lunch, fabulous to have you here. If you're watching live, please don't hesitate to put your questions into the chat. I'll do my best to answer them on the show. If you're watching the replay, pop your questions into the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can. So if you have any questions about anything to do with food freedom, feel free to pop them there, or any suggestions about what I can do for my next live in 2 weeks, let me know. I'm always up. So what we're going to do with this live is I'm going to chitty chat about this particular question. And if I get anything else come at me, I'll hold it to the end and we'll dive in at the end of the show. So why do you keep self-sabotaging your weight loss? You don't. You're actually trying to meet deeper needs. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Why am I broken? Why can't I just do what I say I'm going to do? Why do I keep self-sabotaging? Let's ask a better question. Let's ask ourselves, if I'm not sabotaging anything, what is the need that I'm trying to meet? Now let's dive in. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, obviously smash the like button. I'd love that. But if you enjoy the content that's about to come, you can find, I go deep into this in the Food Freedom Foundation's program. You want to know more about that? You can click the link in the description. So today's going to be a bit of an overview, but it's a powerful training. And you might even want to grab a pen and paper because it's going to be a biggie. But here we go. What are the deeper needs that you might be trying to meet with food? Well, I've already got a question. Meg, she's all over it. She's all over it. What are some examples of those deeper needs, would you say? Perfect. I'm going to answer that question right now. They're basically, I'm going to go through 6. They're kind of another 2, which I'll talk about in the program. But these are 5, not 6. I'm going to go through 5 today. And these are the 5 that most commonly I see being met. First up, if you think about it, what are our needs? Well, our primary need is to survive. And what do we need to survive? Air, water, sunshine. Yeah. What else do we need? Food. Could you just be hungry? Sometimes people call it self-sabotage, but they're so conditioned to be thinking they're meant to be in a caloric deficit all the time that they're not self-sabotaging at all. They're actually just trying to get their caloric needs met. And I spoke about that in last 2 weeks ago. I did a live about this. Why can't you trust your hunger? I go deep into that there. So dive into that video if that's just resonated for you. But oftentimes you're actually just trying to meet the need to eat because you need some nutrition in your body, okay? But the other survival needs, you might need a house over your head. You need to get some movement every day. Another one is sleep. It's a biggie. In fact, of all the primal survival needs that a human being has, sleep is number 3. Number 3. It comes before food and exercise, the 2 things that we constantly focused on in weight loss world. Weight loss world, what do they always say? Eat less, exercise more. Why don't we start with sleeping? Because sleeping and resting is probably the one thing you're chronically deficient of. I bet if you're watching this and you're you call yourself an overeater, binge eater, stress eater, I'll bet that if we were to meet, we'd discover that you are chronically exhausted. And we can't outwit exhaustion. It's a primal survival need. We need to rest. We need to sleep. And I'll bet you're not getting enough of it. How does food come in to meet that need? It's sort of a proxy. If you're exhausted, we've all done this, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, danger zone, right? And we're reaching for food, usually something just quick, easy carbs. We don't have the energy to digest. We certainly don't have the energy to make a big meal when we're tired. And we just start reaching chocolate, crisps, quick, easy. How is that meeting the need? Well, I guess it's giving us a little something to get excited about and waking us up. But also sugar, if you think about it, it's very quick energy. If we're energy depleted, our body's desperate for sleep and rest, we're not giving it to it, it makes sense that we're going to be reaching for things like chocolate, etc., to give us that quick, sugary, to kind of wake us up. It's not solving the real problem. The real problem is we need to get more rest and more sleep in our lives. We need to recover from often decades of chronic exhaustion. I hear a lot of people say they're lazy. Not lazy. You got to-do lists as long as my arm, and you're crashing them out every day. You're not lazy. You're just exhausted. No wonder you don't feel like going to the gym or making a home-cooked meal from scratch with fresh ingredients. You're shattered. And reaching for those junk foods, those quick fixes, it's just meeting the need for a bit of rest, a bit of energy. If you can start meeting that need for rest and sleep the right way, game changer. Now suddenly you've got energy to go to the gym, make good meals, etc., etc. So those are the two at the beginning. They're in the survival camp. Survival needs are always first. And the next four are going to blow your mind, because these we will never imagine would be that important. They're the needs that I call the needs of our emotions, our emotional needs. Now, Tony Robbins might call these the needs of the personality. I have stolen this from Tony Robbins. I've reframed them as the emotional needs. We have four major emotional needs, and if we're not meeting them, no amount of logicking ourselves into I should be on a diet or I should stop overeating is going to work. We underestimate as a society how huge and what big driving forces the emotional needs are. So let's go through them as quickly as I can. Number one, we have a need for safety. We have a need to feel safe. Not primal need safe, but safe in all sorts of other ways. Certainty, calm, comfort, these all come under that space of safe. Now, if weight gain, for example, if being in a bigger body actually protected you at some time from, I don't know, unwanted advances, something like that, and you haven't done the work to truly heal that fear that's inside you, then there's a good chance your subconscious will continue keeping you in a bigger body to protect you. It's protecting you. You need to feel safe. We can't be in a constant state of feeling unsafe, uncertain, anxious, worried, fearful. And using those terms, anxious, worried, fear, if we're feeling those feelings, does food, when you eat, make you feel better or worse? Oftentimes, hands up for me, if I'm in a real state of stress and fear, having a good meal can ground me, makes me safe, makes me feel safe. I can start to see the wood from the trees. It slows down my heart rate. It helps my mind slow down. You know, in South Africa, they say, maag is vol, oog is toe, which means when my tummy's full, then I get a bit sleepy. Awesome. If I'm like energy like this and I eat something, I'm actually meeting my need to bring that energy down so I can start to feel a bit safer and grounded, start to get a bit sleepy so that I can focus on what's in front of me. Mishi, what did you say here? Oh, this one hits deep. Yeah, being in a biggie body protected me. Yes, 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 yes. That's a biggie. Sure is. All right. So where was I? Safety, yes. Needing to feel safe. Food does that. It can actually protect us by being in a bigger body. And also, it has the capacity to help us feel calm and comforted when we're feeling all of the opposite. So if we need to feel safe and certain and we don't, food is the perfect way to kind of get that feeling without actually getting our true needs met, right? We might be fearing something or worried about something, and there's things we can do about it. But in the interim, food might help us emotionally feel more certain, more safe. Next emotional need is the opposite: uncertainty, unsafety. We all need a bit of uncertainty and unsafety in our lives. We need to be on the edge. We need a little bit of danger. We need some ba-ba-boom, baby. We don't want life to be boring and safe and certain all the time. We need adventure. We need play. Now, when I ask people when I first meet them, what do you do for fun? What do you do for play? What you won't believe is how many people don't actually know. There's not a lot of room for play. in these busy lives with to-do lists. And it's really sad as they reflect and realize, oh my goodness, maybe that chocolate I have at the end of the day, a little binge in the parking lot, is the only way I'm giving myself something for me that isn't for everybody else, something that's fun, something that's pleasurable, something that's playful, that isn't a responsibility, and lights me up. In a world of to-do lists and drudgery and monotony and routine, eating can give us the spice of life. It can bring us alive. It's something fun. We need to feel uncertain and safe, and food has a way of doing that. Think about going out to a new restaurant. Oh, the adventure, trying new flavors, exploring. Food can meet that need for uncertainty, adventure, unsafety in a really good way. Next up, so we talked about safety and uncertainty, or certainty and uncertainty. Let's go into the next two. These ones are going to blow your minds, I think. Next up, we've got the need for significance. This is an emotional need to feel seen, heard, and valued. How on earth, Helen, does food show up to try and meet that need? I'll tell you. How many times have you reached for food because you wanted a reward? You worked so hard and you just want to get a little treat, a little reward at the end of the day. Also, if you think about it, when it's your birthday, in those times where you're celebrated, Mother's Day, birthdays, what do you get? Chocolates, maybe? Right? You feel seen, you feel heard, you feel valued, you feel appreciated, you feel significant on those days. And on those days, food shows up. Maybe you're taken out for a special meal. It's amazing how good food is at meeting so many of our needs. So let's go to the last one, and this is the biggest one. The last emotional need that we have that trumps all of them, I personally feel, is the need for love and connection. And when you think about all the times you've been with friends, families, in romantic partnerships, what is the common denominator for all of those things that you tend to do together in all of those relationships? You eat. You have coffee. You spend time with loved ones around food. That association of connection and love and comfort and food is so high. So if you're feeling lonely, sad, disconnected, or if you're feeling rejected, you just got a gut punch, something's happened at work, you feel not enough, so a friend said something, of course your nervous system, because it is a need to feel connection again, if you can't get it in the real world, will reach for the next best thing. So food is not actually helping really meet that need, or any of them really, but it's close enough. It's a good enough proxy. So when somebody says, oh, I don't understand why I sabotage, what I try and help them realize is they're not sabotaging. And our work is for them to come to understand what their unique set of needs are. As I said, there are two more. They show up a bit less, but I'm not going to go into them today. If you're in the Food Freedom Foundation's program, we'll dive into them. Because my job as a coach who works with people who struggle with overeating, I'm kind of like a detective, a private detective that you've hired to help you figure out what are the needs that you're not meeting, and then how to meet them appropriately. If you need things like safety, it's not appropriate to just go, right, stop eating if food's the way you felt safe. The nervous system can't handle that. We've got to help you start to feel safe the right way, in a healthy way, without reaching for another substance or behavior, so that you can stop reaching for food. When you start meeting your needs, whether they're survival needs or whether they're emotional needs, and you start meeting them the right way, it is so much easier to have a good relationship with food and to begin to do what you need to do to lose the weight. Now, oftentimes in this journey, just by starting to meet your needs the right way, learning how to not reach for food as the proxy, you might lose the weight anyway. Sometimes you need a little bit of a nudge. But at least while you're on your journey of weight release, you'll be meeting your needs the right way and not using food as a way to meet them. So it's never self-sabotage, lovely one. If you've been thinking that, you can put that idea down. You're not trying to screw yourself over. There's no deeper force deep down that's trying to make your life miserable. You're probably meeting some deeper needs. Let's get on the journey. Let's figure out what they are. And I'd love to help you. Let's see, I've got another question here. How can I rewire my mind to not reach for food as a reward? That, lovely Meg, is a question for another day. How can I rewire my mind? Oh, that's a big one. I tell you what, why don't we use that for next live? So catch me in 2 weeks. I want to answer that question because it's a really good question. And I'm going to dive into that with you. So if you'd like to find out the answer to that question, join me in 2 weeks' time for our next live at lunch. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Loving the questions that are coming in. Really appreciate them. If you're watching this live, you can always send me your questions in the chat or put them in the comments if you're watching the replay, and I'll make sure to try and reply as best as I can, as fast as I can. Lovelies, it's been great being with you. Tell your friends, share this with people who are struggling with food or call their overeating self-sabotage, and hopefully they'll get an aha moment. And if you enjoyed that live at lunch, please give me a big old thumbs up so we can make sure this gets out to other people who need to hear about it. My name's Coach Helen. I work with people struggling with overeating. If you'd like to work with me, all the links you need are in the description. Would love to chat to you to see how that might look. Have a beautiful Wednesday going forward. Have a beautiful weekend after that. Start meeting those needs the right way. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time where we're going to answer Meg's question about how to rewire your mind to not reach for food as a reward. I'll see you then.